What about you?
Oh,
and
they're
you?
with me. They're my guys. They're with me.
All right.
You want me to go?
Can we pray? Can we pray then? Can we pray? Can we pray? How about that? Can we take a kneel and pray?
You guys can kneel. I'm not just. This is the church. This is the church.
I'll pray for you. I'll pray for you right now. I'll pray for you.
Appreciate that.
Hey, everyone, take a knee. Take a knee. Everybody, take a knee. Take a knee.
Take a knee.
Take a knee.
It's our opportunity to show us your knee. Take a 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 knee.
It's all right. The mic.
Mike, show us the mic.
I got you. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right.
Action, speak louder. Take the knee.
Hello?
I am tired.
Hey, that's all right. Let's all bow our heads. Father God, we gather here today for a great reason, God. To bring people together for a great cause. We have people in front of us here today that might not kneel with us, but can you change their mindset, God? Put them in a position to believe that black lives do matter. Yes, they do matter. But we also need you to stand with us and show that you stand with us. You can say you stand with us, but we need you to show that you stand with us. God, I pray that you will help them to move in the light, to see, to be able to see, and to be able to be like, yes, I understand, and I will walk with you. I will talk with you. I will educate myself to be with you, and so that we can change the world for the better. Amen. Amen.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Resistance of Tyranny. As you can see, some things have changed here. The feed now is coming from, well, we have my voice, and it's going into the podcast with this microphone, and then we also have this microphone going to the YouTube video. So this is way nicer because I can just do one video, one feed, one recording, and not have to. It does take a while to take the audio from a video and put it into the podcasting software, which I use as Anchor. It's an app I have on my computer. But anyway, let's get right into this. But I just got the parts in today, and I'm really excited. But still some studio changes that have to happen. I'm going to be moving over that way with a TV behind me, and I'll be able to pull up images on the screen and articles and such. So that'll be nice, so you guys can see right in the video what I'm talking about. Still have videos, clips of what I'm talking about inside the video, but I can pull up stuff on the screen, and that'll be just very handy. Let's see. But then I got this today. Makes me feel a lot more powerful. I mean, it really feels nice. I love these. So that'll be coming. But now I have this single feed, and now the next thing is I'm going to be working on getting the radio set up, the online radio. So now we just have podcast and actual YouTube videos in the same feed, the same audio, so I don't miss anything. And then I'll be doing the online radio. That'll be on here as well. And that's even different because that'll probably have to be an entirely different broadcast. Just because sorry, something came up on the screen. Just because you have a mixing board and you have to change the audio and everything, and you have breaks and commercials and everything, and so that can't work on the podcast or the video. So these will probably be one, and then the radio will probably be a separate thing. But moving on from that, I'm just super stoked about this. Is a really great microphone. I gave my other one away because I wasn't using it, but then, I mean, they just go together really great. So for the YouTube people watching the video, you just saw a video I put up of a police officer who refused to kneel in front of protesters or rioters who demanded that he submit to their communist ideology for George Floyd. So he didn't do that, and you saw that in the video. And if you're listening on podcast, you obviously didn't see that video, but you can look that up. Police officer refuses to kneel before protesters. Anyway, the Lowell, Mass. Officer was standing guard outside of a building when protesters told him to, quote, take a knee, according to lawofficer.com. He responded with, nah. It's kind of a slang word that we use. As respectively as he could. Not as respectively as he could, saying nah, but whatever with that. Viewers of the clip were overwhelmingly supportive of the cop for not kneeling down to the protest, with several of them stating it would have put him in a dangerous position that would have made him unable to respond to threats, not to mention it would have been a dereciliation of his duty to stand guard. And he's just a proud American, it seemed like, in this video. Why are they trying to force people to do something? What if it was the other way around? This is not one man I know that would get on his knees for anyone. One viewer responded, and I stand behind that. It's just a way of trying to enforce your dominance onto another, no matter skin color. This has gotten ridiculous. Obviously, the whole idea of white privilege and all of this, I mean, that's racist too, saying that whites are somehow evil and bad because of the color of their skin. I mean, Martin Luther King would be against that, we know that. Quick question. Would you rather have the officer protecting your neighborhood from civil unrest or the young Swedish cadet who broke down into tears and took a knee? It's ridiculous. We also have the Democrat leadership in Congress knelt in tribute to George Floyd. We saw Nancy Pelosi taking the knee, doing all that virtue signaling, ridiculous garbage, because of the felon George Floyd, the piece of shit. She was covered in African scarves. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, also a piece of shit, led 24 other Democrat lawmakers in Congress, Emancipation Hall, in 8 minutes and 46 seconds of a silent kneeling to mark the length of the time the police officer knelt on top of Floyd's neck, which is, again, a move that they are taught at the Minneapolis Police Department. They're taught it. I mean, there's one that's meant to knock a person unconscious and one that's supposed to keep them conscious. What he was performing is unclear because he did die, but he had cocaine in the system and underlying conditions, but mainly the cocaine. I mean, imagine having that on top of that. I mean, death sentence. The far left's defund the police rally cry gained traction over the weekend, resulting in some Democrat cities in acquiescence to their demands. Defunding the police, going to have total crime. People better start buying guns and ammo. And they don't want to defund the police. They want to take them over and put them, I mean, basically make them UN troops that'll do whatever they want. You'll take orders, do whatever we want, or we're going to cut off your funding. That's basically what's happening. For example, the Minneapolis City Council pledged to completely disband its police department on Sunday, calling for the end of policing as we knew it. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio also vowed to defund NYPD following days of violent riots and looting in the city. Gone over this many times. I don't think the police should get as much money as they do, but they need to be able to keep us safe. But don't have so much where they can just completely override us whenever they want. They need to have the same level of weaponry that the civilians have to face any civilian threat, because that is what they're protecting from. If we're looking at, you don't need tanks and things like that. That's the National Guard. They protect America from outside threats. Quote, "This is a transformative movement, so the actions today are beginning," he said Sunday. I expect us urgently. Incessantly working for change for 18 months until the very last day we're here. I expect you to see and feel a different reality in the NYPD and in the city as a whole. Just absolutely ridiculous garbage. State Department Memorandum 7277 talks about this. You'll cut down military and police funding and bring in UN troops, who are the globalist army. And that's exactly what this is. They're going to transform the police into that, or completely knock them out, the police, and bring in their own thing, like I was saying, the UN. It's just bad. What is next? What is next? If this doesn't break out into full-on civil war, or we're going to have police taking this too far, which they haven't, thankfully, and I give that credit to Trump. If the police take it too far, start martial law on innocent civilians, then you have a legitimate uprising and a real civil war, because police were taking their orders too far. So we have that one option, or you have this black versus white type garbage. which I won't fall for, and I haven't. Or we're going to have another wave of coronavirus, which is, again, false test from Bill and Melinda Gates. It won't be because of the riots, although, because, I mean, they're speaking of that. I mean, if this was when anti-lockdown protesters went out on the Capitol steps of every state, basically, they said, oh, you're going to spread coronavirus, oh, you're terrorists. Then you have this, and it's the complete opposite. I mean, you got to be kidding me. You guys understand what that means. That's all for today. See you tomorrow.